Hi everybody, it's me, Dark Ephemera, and welcome to my new Wednesday videos called Wrestling Wednesday. Hopefully these videos will come out on a Wednesday or they'll come out on a Thursday, we'll see. And in these videos, not so much ASMR, but still quiet talking, you and me chatting. I'm going to be wrestling with a project, and I will also be talking about professional wrestling, which is one of my favorite subjects. So let's get going. I am a big fan of Impact Wrestling, and that is last night was a really great episode, as are many of the episodes of Impact Wrestling, and that's what I'll be talking about. And what project will I be wrestling with? Well, let's see. So I ordered some Godzilla figures on Wish, and they had sold out. So they offered to send me something for free, so I opted for this mechanical dragonfly. Kind of like Legos, but kind of not. I'm not very good at Legos in general, but let's see what I can do about this. I'm not sure if I can do two things at once, but hey, what the heck. That's going to look pretty awesome if I can get it together. Well, that's why it's called Wrestling Wednesday. We're going to start by getting the bags out and maybe sort them. But I'm also going to start by talking about last night's episode of Impact Wrestling. Of course, if you watch wrestling, you probably know that on AEW Dynamite last Tuesday, Kenny Omega won the AEW Heavyweight Championship with the help of his good friend Don Callis, who is one of the executive vice presidents at Impact Wrestling. They then confirmed that Kenny was in fact going to be on Impact Wrestling. But I knew it wasn't going to be in any kind of serious capacity, because all of Impact Wrestling's shows are pre-taped and all of the shows have already been taped, so it's not like he was going to wrestle or anything. But the show started off with just as I gave you, a basic overview. None of these bags are labeled. Oh, maybe they are. Let me see. There's a letter there. Maybe that's a number? We'll see. And the first match, though, was Josh Alexander versus Chris Sabin. Now, of course, Josh being part of the North, Tag Team the North with Ethan Page, and Chris Sabin part of Motor City Machine Guns. This is kind of an ongoing, as everyone is wrestling for the tag team titles, ongoing issues. Ethan, however, is slowly going insane. Clearly, Karate Man is trying to take over his life. And in a moment of anger, the two of them clashed a little bit. Some shouted moments. Josh gets pinned by Chris Sabin. Clean, 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 but still kind of shocking. And now another reason for Josh to not like Ethan and for the North to probably break up. Next up, a little backstage thing with Moose, and I'm just moving on because who cares about Moose? And then there's a paid commercial. Paid by AEW with Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone looking really sort of disoriented. I don't know. I don't watch AEW that much. I used to watch Being the Elite and The Show and Dark. Now I've just occasionally watched Dark every now and then. I am going to watch it this week, though, because coming up, oh, I need a calendar in front of me just so I know what dates I'm talking about. Get my calendar out. So, coming up on the 9th, Wednesday the 9th, is going to be an episode of AEW where Abaddon is going to be wrestling. So that's going to be great. I very much like her, and she's usually just on Dark. This is cute. Oh, look at these pieces. Oh, this is the base. This big turbine wheel looking thing. This is probably just mostly base material. I just don't see well, I'm going to see how these bags are labeled in the booklet. The next match, though, is Brian Myers versus TJP. And it was a clean win. Brian didn't have to cheat. TJP is very jumpy, leapy, but Brian is a powerhouse. And so it was a relatively decent win. I mean, TJP, he's always hovering around the edges of everything, like Rohit and everything, but he doesn't win all that often, so it's a little odd. Then we get a little behind the scenes with Cody and Jake Diener. Jake promising not to interfere with his match, with Cody's match with Eric Young, but will be at ringside to help out if Joe Doring snaps the way Joe Doring snaps. And sure enough, no, yeah, we talk a little bit more with Rohit and TJP again. TJP just isn't that interesting. He's very flippy. He's got all these crazy kind of submission moves and stuff, but I don't know. And he doesn't really win that often. Rohit has won clean against him. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's kind of odd. I don't know what the big deal with him is. So the next match is Eric Young versus Cody Diener, which ends with Eric Young giving a devastating piledriver his and beating Cody. And then, of course, afterwards, Joe Doring and Eric Young start beating down. They just love beating down. See, this one says 9.7. That one says 4. I think these numbers mean something. I think it's trying to tell me something here. I love Eric Young. I love UI. I just don't get what his current storyline is. Is he building a... I thought for a second as they were wrestling, because Cody was talking about how they used to drive together and all sorts of stuff and be, together as friends and as trainers and train together and work together and drive together. I thought maybe Eric was going to build some kind of Team Canada-ish kind of deal. I don't know. There just happen to be a lot of Canadians in this show, but go Team Canada. All right, this one says 6. This one says 1. That's exciting. That's a 1, right? It's kind of smeared. Let me look at it real close. It's smeared, but I think it's a 1. I'm going to set this one aside. This might be the first one. Next up, we have a series of vignettes featuring Tommy Dreamer and Johnny Bravo concerning Johnny being shot by Larry D. or Lawrence D. Okay, so Larry D. challenges Tommy to a match at Final Retribution. If Larry D. wins, then he will go gladly to prison. If Tommy wins, then Larry D. will gladly go to prison. And if Tommy loses, then they leave him alone. Fine. The irony of this storyline is, of course, the Who Shot Johnny Bravo storyline, is that I believe there is a story going around that back in the day, back in the ECW days, Tommy or somebody floated the idea of being shot, as part of a storyline. But then there was a realization that the only retribution for being shot is basically to kill the other person. So if Johnny Bravo doesn't kill Larry D, there isn't really any point to this. Like, what is it all about? So I don't know how this is going to end, but we got a match coming up, Retribution, Final Retribution, December 12th. This is one of their monthly shows that are only available streaming on their app, so Impact app. And then Tommy talks to Scott D'Amore, and they're just a hilarious little piece talking about Kenny Omega. They keep reminding you that Kenny Omega is in a bus in the parking lot, and that Josh Matthews is going to talk to him at some point. But let's get back to wrestling. Back to the women's tag team. Let's see, what is this got a number? Women's tag team is now chugging along really nicely. We have, in today's episode, Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly, this says 5, versus everyone's favorite team, Ragnarok, though they've never said the name online, Ragnarok, which is Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary. And an excellent match. Everyone did a great job. There were some great hilarious moments, including Kimber and Taya both doing the splits and then beating each other up. That was fantastic. This is number 2. I'm going to put that over here. Oh, look at these. This is going to be big. These wings. Holy crumb. What have I done? This is a giant piece. Wow. Okay. The Godzilla figures I ordered were only 5 inches tall. I refuse to have figures bigger than 5 or 6 inches. I don't want any giant things, but, well, this looks like a little fun thing to put together. Okay. I see it's covered in a protective film. Very nice. I will keep those covered and protected until I need them. Oh no, it's coming off. Oh, come on. Alright, come on, protective film. Alright, close enough. As protected as it can be. Okay. Set these aside. I don't think I can use this for anything. I do a lot of journaling and stuff. We'll see if I can use this for anything. I don't think so. I will put it down here. Alright. So it was a great match, but Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary victorious. They move on to the next level, and now the semifinal brackets are all set up and ready to keep going. I think there's probably going to be another match at Final Resolution, and the finale will no doubt be at the big show in January, the name of which, Hard to Kill. I should have written down what date it was. Sometime in January. I want to say January 12th, but don't quote me on that. Now we get some more storyline with Tennille Dashwood and Caleb with K talking to Alicia Edwards, who they kind of were sort of a team. I don't know. But Alicia has recently been very upset about the fact that Sami Callihan beat up her husband severely. And so she has that to deal with. And so basically Tennille and Alicia have broken up. Okay, that's fine. It's all about Tennille anyway. So it didn't really matter. So now, let's see what was next. Oh, I see. Yes. Deonna Purrazzo, super upset at having lost. Loser. The tag team match is yapping at Scott D'Amore, who is probably the funniest character in this entire show. He's fantastic. Always a treat when Scott D'Amore comes on the screen. And he books Rosemary versus Deonna Purrazzo, much to her chagrin, as usual. And that's going to be for Final Resolution? Yes, I think so. Because Rosemary will probably be busy during Hard to Kill for something else. And we have a fantastic... This is an episode of fantastic promos. Because we got one from Sami Callihan, who, give him a mic, just give him a mic. He is wonderful. He is fantastic. Looks like they're not telling me what bags these are in. I'm just supposed to find these myself. Okay. Sami just talks about what a great wrestler he is, how great he is on promo. He shows clips from, that's what this is here. He shows clips from the previous time that he beat Eddie Edwards and bloodied his eye, and then shows clips from the more recent time when he beat Eddie Edwards and bloodied his eye. And then who should come out but Alicia? And Alicia, Lish, she gets in his face. He's like, hey, you don't want to take me on. She's like, I didn't come alone. And out comes Eddie, bloodied, black eye and all. And they has fight. As, I'm sorry, I just stole that from Brian Zane. My apologies to Wrestling with Regret. But yeah, they has fight. And so it is on like Donkey Kong, and just going to need one of these, I guess. One bracket. one of these brown pins. And I guess some stuff in here. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. I'll get another bin. I have these great plastic containers, which are so good. And they're great, you know, the lids are great shallow trays to help sort stuff. So Sammy Callahan versus Eddie Edwards was fantastic and fantastic to watch. And if this is going to be part 2, great. 2021 is going to start off on a great foot with this, because Sammy always elevates whoever he is wrestling with, and Eddie just always brings it. He's professional, he's great in the ring, he's great fun. So this is going to be a great show. This seems awful long. Is this the right one? Oh look, there's a much shorter one. So Eddie, like a lunatic, as always, backstage, pumped up from beating the crap out of Sammy and having him run off, tells Alicia, rather mysteriously, she said, "I helped you with your problem, now you help me with mine." I don't know what problem Alicia has. She's been involved in some great storylines concerning the tag team. You know, like she wanted to have a tag team partner for the new tag team, women's tag team division. But we're already well into the final, the semifinals of it, so I don't know what the point of that is. She was involved with Tennille Dashwood, but now that's kind of fallen apart too. That seems about right. And one of these. This one? They are not the same. Wait. Yep, I did that wrong. Already doing this wrong. I think this at the top. Well, time will tell. We'll see what it is that Alicia's problem is. What is her problem? That seem all right? Yeah, that doesn't seem right. I think it's like this. Why are they showing it like that? Is it like this? That seems better. Okay. Spoop. Okay. So let's see what else is happening. Oh, finally, the big match that was foretold. Chris Bay and Moose versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack. And if Chris's team wins, he gets a shot at the belt, whatever. And it's one of those kind of things. Moose is involved because I don't know Moose. Chris Bay is looking like he's not that interested in having Moose as his partner. Moose is, of course, not interesting with interacting with anybody, and also just generally not interesting. But in the conclusion, they win. Chris Bay and Moose win, which means that Rich Swann has to wrestle Chris Bay at Final Resolution. Great, for the belt. So it's already Saturday's lineup is already looking pretty amazing. Okay. So finally, we get Kenny Omega. Josh Matthews goes to the big fancy bus. I'm looking for something that looks like that. Oh, I think I put too many things in this bin. I'm wondering if I should separate these by color so that I can at least find... I feel like I'm just going to keep opening bins. I feel like sorting these by color. Anyway, in the bus, we get ceremonial changing of the nameplates. And so now the nameplate says Kenny Omega and not John Moxley anymore. Kenny is wearing a very dark pair of glasses, which is hilarious. And I think he like busted his eye open, I guess, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And Don Callis delivers another banger of a promo. Just killing it today with promos. Talking about his history with Kenny, talking about the Sheik, the Golden Sheik, I don't know, some Canadian wrestler, and their history. And I didn't realize that Kenny was was grandfathered into wrestling. Well, that's cool. Orange pieces, gray pieces, and clear pieces. 90% of this is red because it's a dragonfly, but I don't know. Let's see, what does this look like? It's got like 2 or 3 holes and has a rounded end like this. No, not like that, but kind of like that. Like this. No, not like that, but kind of like that. Anyway, I think this is this thing that's going to be around, so Google it. You'll find the speech. It's pretty good. Kenny then gives a speech. Initially, it's a little rough, as his stuff usually is. Improv is not his strong point. Gotta keep working on that, or just give it up, but then he finally smooths into something that it feels a little better. Basically, he wants to collect all the belts. So he's looking at Chris Bay. In fact, just before this sequence, outside in the parking lot, Chris Bay was not on the list, so he was not allowed to go into that area. And for some bizarre reason, that really upset Rich Swann. Oh no, am I implying that Chris Bay is going to be the next champion? Oh no. Rich Swann was bizarrely upset at it. I don't know why. I don't get Rich Swann's character. His music and his entrance says he's a fun-loving party guy. But then he's like, he gets really petty. He has a whole like underdog vibe. All my friends hate his hair. There's just a lot going on there. The hair is terrible. I wonder if it'd be too much if I did just open all these bags and separate them by color. I don't want to overwhelm myself. I only have... How many trays do I have? I think I just have 3 or 4. I've got 3 trays. 3 trays and then lids to match. I can open this one. People are getting overly excited about this. I think this is just the way... I just think this is just the way it is. The idea that a company like the WWE does not acknowledge the presence of any other company is just absurd. Because we all have television. We all have the internet. We get to watch this stuff now. You could get away with that years ago. Years ago when I was watching, you only knew things happened because you read about it in one of the wrestling magazines. But now, I can actually watch New Japan Pro instead of just seeing still pictures of what happened in Japan. I can actually watch AAA. I can actually watch all the indies. I can, not just go to my local one, but I could see indie shows from all different regions. I don't see this shape. Or I do, and I'm not capable of... Is it red or is it orange? It's not orange. It's definitely red. So I think it's only, it's a good idea for AEW to start pressing ahead with this idea that there's a bunch of organizations, so they're reaching out to the next biggest one, and Impact is basically number 3 at this point, until Ring of Honor gets back on their feet. I'm not sure what Ring of Honor is doing. I used to be a big Ring of Honor fan, but I think a lot of the people that were in it got kind of speaking outed, like Marty Scurll and I don't know what. So I should dip in and see, because they're doing a pure tournament. Only when I look at it, when I look at the pure tournament, I see it's people that I don't really like that much, like Hot Sauce and all them people. And I'm like, oh. I mean, I don't hate any wrestlers. There's very few, if any, wrestlers that I hate. There's just a lot that I'm indifferent to. Yeah. I wish them luck in their careers. And that's about it. Anyway, so that was Impact Show for December 8th. And tonight, on Wednesday, December 9th, is going to be AEW's. I'm only going to do this wrestling show once a week, though. And so hopefully it'll be a little better. And maybe I'll have some progress on this dragonfly that I'm working on. So this is Dark Ephemera. Thank you very much for watching my Wrestling Wednesdays. I always call it Wrestling with Wednesdays. And I hope you have a great rest of the week watching wrestling, crafting, and doing weird shit. Thank you. Bye.